G'day, I see Bitcoin's dumped again. We'll talk about that in a sec, but yesterday had a really interesting conversation with Preston Pysh after the conference. We sat down, did a 15-minute conversation. The audio is a little bit bad. I'll get somebody to clean it up before I release that video. I also sat down with Mark Moss, had dinner with Mark Moss, which was really cool. Really interesting people at the event. There's a couple of things top of mind that I just want to talk about quickly. This announcement from Microsoft, it's pretty amazing to see what happens. The board have said to vote no for adopting Bitcoin, but what this has really shown is there is pressure potentially from BlackRock for these large institutions that are holding large, massive amounts of cash. I believe Microsoft's holding about $76.5 billion in cash, even if they were to go 5% into Bitcoin. That's a pretty large stack, and I think this is how we have the game theory really accelerating, which will be a very interesting time in human history if we have someone like Microsoft get in there. I do see a lot of people saying they don't want Bill Gates to own Bitcoin. I hate to break it to you, but I'm sure that evil billionaire already does hold a large stack, maybe not as much as Michael Saylor, but I'm sure they've been going pretty hard, all the billionaires, Elizabeth Warren, maybe not Warren Buffett, but Jamie Dimon, all the bankers, I'm sure they are paying very close attention. Microsoft, if they do a buy, it's going to be a catalyst to really send us to stratospheric new all-time highs. Obviously the price is irrelevant. This is the separation of money from state. 1 Bitcoin equals 1 Bitcoin. But that's sort of where we are with a cute little puppy dog running down to the beach. A lady did not want the dog to go for a swim. But I think that's a major catalyst. Another thing I was talking to Mark Moss about was just the game is rigged. He did a whole talk on it. I'll release that video shortly as well. The audio for that one was a whole lot better. I understand the wind noise is probably not that great for this little video clip now. But using assets and buying them in different orders, like both Bitcoin and real estate, a lot of Bitcoiners, including myself in the past, have been getting against real estate, sort of calling it a shitcoin of the asset investment world, but maybe it does have a part to play. So we'll get Mark Moss on, we'll do a full podcast on that, I dare say, whatever else is top of mind at the moment. But I think the world's shifting, and it has been for the last 15 going on 16 years with Bitcoin. But where we are now, they're going to print money forever and ever, assets are going to go up. And it's just learning how to escape that fiat matrix. And one of the biggest things I asked Mark Moss when we were sitting down and when we were talking was, if someone was young, say they're like, I don't know, late teens, 18, 19, early 20s, or, even if they're in young 30s and they're still in the matrix, working a bullshit job, should they be stacking Bitcoin, or what should they do instead? They said, unless they have a high amount of cash flow to be able to invest, they're better to increase their skills. I'm like, well, what should they go into? And he said, it's a digital economy, it's a creator's economy, so they should really be focusing in on technology at the moment, using AI to be able to upskill. You can pretty much do anything these days on a computer with AI and really accelerate your learning. Just for myself, within 3 months we launched a learning management system, totally unrelated to Bitcoin. It's what I do. There'll be an announcement coming out. It's not for the Bitcoin community at all. But before AI, it would have taken me about 2 years to put all this together with my skill set. Talking with AI for like 4-6 hours a day, I got it done in about 3 months. Absolutely amazing. And that's just like the tip of the iceberg with AI. It really is an accelerant. And one of the other conversations that were there that, I reckon even the conference probably would have spent about 30% of the time talking about AI in general and robotics. I don't know if we can really fathom how much it's going to accelerate over the next coming years. Like say over the next 5 years. Very, very different world. So it's harness the power now and provide as much value as you can to get as much fiat as you can over the next 5 to 6 years. Otherwise, their words, not mine, you're pretty much fucked. So So I think we've got 4 or 5 years left. Maybe it's a little bit longer, maybe it's a little bit shorter. But just to be able to get as much fiat as possible, continue to have that high cash flow, and invest in hard assets, the hardest asset being Bitcoin, and then happy days ever after. But it's going to be an interesting time coming up. I'll go more into those stories and start putting out those video clips over the next week. We'll clean up the Preston Pysh audio and we'll get them on for a long form podcast in the coming weeks. So make sure you hit subscribe if we vibe, because you'll get news with the fast facts, but you'll also get these high level podcast conversations with the best and the brightest minds within Bitcoin. I strongly believe these are the smartest people in the world. Anyway, peace, have a beautiful day, do something nice for yourself and somebody else. We'll catch up.